Alice here. Are you looking for tough native bloomer that is low maintenance and a huge pollinator attractor? Meet BlackEyedSusan, Rudbeckia hirta, native plant that grows throughout the southeastern United States. It's found in USDA zones 7 to 10. It comes from a large family, Asteraceae, many plants, and there are Rudbeckias, 31 species throughout North America. There's a good chance that you have one of those species growing in your area. This particular species is growing in southeastern United States in hardiness zones 7 through 10. Depending on where you live in that wide range of zones, the plant may be a spring bloomer or it may be an early summer bloomer into mid-fall. And it's a prolific reseeder. Some places it's considered an annual, some places a short-lived perennial, and other places a biennial. As a prolific reseeder, BlackEyedSusan can travel a little bit around your garden and provide pops of color. Here's one getting ready to bloom. You can see the hairy leaf structure and hairy leaves and stems. Here's a patch. I will be deadheading these back in the next few days. I did a video you might want to check out on reseeding fabulous bloomer. Taking a walk around, there's one that popped up in the middle of my pollinator bed, and in the back, others have spread. Great example of how seeds of the BlackEyedSusan can travel and produce a beautiful pop of color right here in the middle of a bed of grasses in my backyard. How do you get this plant? Well, first of all, if you already have some blooming, let a few of them go to seed. And as the seeds drop, then the plant will reseed itself. You will have blooming plants for as long as you allow part of your crop to reseed itself. This is something we learned from our colonial fathers, and I have a video from Williamsburg where they do just that. Other sources of the plant are from seed companies. In particular, if you're in the Florida area, I would recommend you shop for seed at the Florida Wildflower Growers Association. You can get seed packets, or you can get large amount of seeds if you want to spread the seeds over a large property. Link to that is below. Another source is those retail nurseries that carry native plants, in particular native plant nurseries. And I have a link to resources for that. Gardening tip, purchasing these plants in Florida. There are actually two variants of Rudbeckia hirta in Florida. In the southern part of Florida, which would be like zones 9 and 10, the variant is Rudbeckia floridana. For the northern part of the state, which would be zones 9A, 8, the variant would be Rudbeckia hirta Augusta, Florida. So ask when you're shopping to see if you're getting the variety that will grow the best in your location. And for other zones further north, check with your local cooperative extension for what's recommended for your area. Its bloom color is bright yellow, sometimes golden looking, or orange. And its characteristics cones or dome-like center, which is where the nectar and pollen source is for the native bees, bumblebees, other pollinators, and butterflies that come in search of food. That cone color is black. Other species, the cone color can also be brown and green. The black-eyed Susan gets its name from the black color of this dome. The bloom form its single petals, longish, and they surround that cone. You have a single flower that comes out on a stem on the stalk. The stalks they come up from a basal leaf area. The leaves are hairy and the stems are hairy. Don't be fooled that it's deer resistant. It could possibly be moderately deer resistant, but if you have a lot of deer in your area and if you have hungry deer, they will eat the leaves. Here's the black-eyed Susan. It's got black dome shape in the center and their florets, the petals coming out. And this particular color is kind of a lemony yellow. Growing conditions, its soil requirements are really varied. It can grow in sandy soil, loamy soil, and clayey soil. And because of that, it's very adaptable in its pH from acidic, which would be the sandy soil, to alkaline, which would be the more clay soil. It does like well-drained soil, but it does do well in moist areas. And while it is considered drought tolerant, it does really best with a little more moisture. So if you really want prolific blooms, then you want to have more moist soil or at least water deeply once per week. Gardening tip, it thrives best in a moderate poor soil nutrient composition. So don't plant it next to the lawn where you may have runoff of nitrogen and other nutrients from the fertilizer. It will not thrive well in that kind of an environment. I'm not concerned about Susan's hid by my grass being a border plant because I don't use any fertilizer or pesticides. There's not runoff from the fertilizer. Sun requirements thrives in full sun. It will tolerate a little bit of partial shade, but for max blooms, full sun is where you want to place it. Water requirements are moderate to dry. It is known as being drought tolerant, but for long periods of drought, I would recommend that you water deeply at least once a week. Gardening tip for maximum blooming. Deadhead your plant if you want to keep it blooming ongoingly into the mid-fall. That would be a little maintenance that you might want to consider. Some landscape and gardening ideas are to put Black-Eyed Susan in a mixed flower garden, pollinator garden, wildflower garden, native plant garden. It's also good in meadows where you're not going to be mowing. It grows well in those situations. It grows on slopes and banks. And frequently, as you drive around, especially in rural areas, you'll see it growing along the roadside, in ditches, in parts of farmers' fields where the seeds have blown. It even grows in pots and containers. As long as you have full sun, that's what it wants. Gardening tip for using Black-Eyed Susan in a cut flower garden. Cut the individual flowers. They will keep in a mixed bouquet for up to 10 days. Companion plants, things that would go well would be a mix of bloom, form, and color. For example, a red salvia plant, Stokes aster, and a purple coneflower. All of those would look nice together in a mixed garden. Pollinator and ecosystem benefits of Rudbeckia hirta include supporting pollinator and butterfly populations by providing nectar and pollen food. In addition, small birds, such as finches, maybe Carolina wrens, other birds that come to your yard, will eat the seeds from the cones. For farmers, having a source of wildflowers near their crops brings pollinators that are attracted to those wildflowers into their area. And then the pollinators fly and help with pollination of a variety of crops. And of course, we want our farmers to succeed so that our food supply succeeds. 3 quick gardening tips. Let some seed drop so the plants reseed and you have an ongoing source of these beautiful bloomers for your garden. Don't over-fertilize so you'll get maximum blooms and your plant will thrive because it likes a poor nutrient soil condition. To keep those blooms coming from late spring through summer into mid-fall, deadhead frequently. There are a few common mistakes we all make, and one is when we have a lot of seedlings come up, we neglect to thin them out. It's important to thin them out because Black-Eyed Susan are susceptible to powdery mildew if there are too many plants jammed together and there's not good air circulation. So allow at least 1.5 to 2 feet between your plants, if possible, so that you can maximize healthy foliage and they can thrive. The second thing is to don't overlook the need to inspect your plant leaves from time to time for snails or slugs if they are problematic in your yard, because they will come to your Black-Eyed Susans and strip the leaves. Who can't love this wonderful blooming plant? Grow Black-Eyed Susans in your garden for beauty and biodiversity. And please share your experience in comments below. Subscribe, Garden Yay, for more plant spotlights and gardening tips. See you again soon.